whoop, live in the place to be. It's your favorite cousin's favorite cousin, your boy Red, and it's your girl Dee Dee right here. Say what's up to the people, Dee
What's
Dee.
up to the people, Didi?
So we gonna get started off with just a nice little icebreaker question. I apologize in advance for the people who this may offend, but who are so let's stick in the celebrity realm. Who are two celebrities that you have often, not one time, maybe one time, but for me it's often, have mistaken for each other? Like you can't really tell the difference between who is who, or it took you a while to figure out the difference between who is who. Who's that person for you, Didi?
So I think in like the late 90s, early to mid 2000s, these two were always in movies, similar genre, very similar features, never together. So I used to get them confused all the time. And that is Cameron Diaz and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Man, why can't I even think about who Gwyneth Paltrow is?
Because she
What
looked like
movie
Cameron
did
Diaz.
what movie did Gwyneth Paltrow play?
Shallow Hal
Oh, yeah. With Deuce Bigelow guy. I can't remember his real name.
with Jack Black.
No, Jack Black. What am I thinking about then? I'm thinking about
I
the
don't
one
know
where he
what you
turned
thinking
into a
about.
girl.
What movie is
What is
that?
Rob Schneider? I'm thinking about Rob Schneider.
Oh,
Okay, I'm thinking about a different person. For me, y'all gonna hate me for this for sure. But every single time I see him, even today, like I just seen a post about one of the ladies earlier today, and I'm like, man, I can't figure out who this is. I got to read the caption. Cher and Celine Dion.
you
Those
got to be
two
kidding me.
people, I kid you not. Cher and
That
Celine
is
Dion.
not right. That
Every
is not
single
right.
time I see one of them, I'm like, bro, I don't know which one this is. I,
That's
I don't
terrible.
I
They do
don't
not
because
look alike at all.
because now they like both older white women, and like they both like I mean they both like look good for their age, but like I still can't tell the difference between who they are.
Are you sure?
So I know Celine Dion did the Titanic song, like all that stuff. What did Cher do?
Right. Cher was singing like real big in the 70s. And then she had a couple things later, but she ain't no Celine Dion.
I can't tell the difference between them, man.
Wow.
I can't tell the difference. Like they literally the same person in my mind. Like not their careers, but they look. I can't.
I think you need to look them up one more
I,
time.
maybe I do, but every single time I think I seen something with Celine Dion getting an award, and I sat there and I had to look for a minute. I was like, all right, let me guess which one this is.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man, they look alike, man. They look alike.
I don't know. Now I can't
It's
think of no guys that look alike that I used to get confused. Um, but usually if they was doing the same type of stuff, I'd be like, no, it would take I'd do a second look and be like, okay, that's so that's not her.
right.
But today we're gonna talk about goals, and it's not gonna be what you think. But I feel like I had this question in my mind because I feel like we as adults or even as young adults, we kind of have this in our minds that we have to set goals and we have to meet them. And I think we put this kind of weird expectation on ourselves. And I kind of wanted to dig a little deeper to see what why do we feel like we have to set goals? How do we do it? Do Are we comparing ourselves to other people that are in our age bracket to feel like, okay, well, I need to achieve this or that? We came off the new year where people traditionally make resolutions and all that stuff. People do vision boards, all kind of things. So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, just the process of that and how do we go about it? Because I feel like it, there's almost this thing that if we don't, then maybe we're not as adult as we think we are. Maybe we're not as successful as we think we need to be. And just where does all that come from?
What do you
So
think what do you think is even the percentage of people who revisit these things? Because I feel like often a new year comes, we set goals out there, and then somehow, some way, the goals end up dissipating or getting lost in the sauce or the chaos of
yeah.
life, and we never really revisit them. So, what do you even think? How many people actually revisit what they goals are?
Well, this is that's what I'm saying. I think it's bigger than New Year's. That's the
Okay.
whole point. Because I think that there is this thing that people feel like, okay, it's a new year, I get a new start. When in reality, there are 364 other days where you could start something.
Yeah.
So I think traditionally we just say, okay, I'm gonna do this in the new year because it's a time marker, it's a timestamp, it's an easy to remember. I'm gonna start something new. But bigger than that, if you don't have a new goal, then okay.
Yeah.
Why is that not okay? Why can't we just continue with what we're doing? Or why do we always feel like we have to do something new? Who
Yeah.
told us that? Who are we watching? Who are we comparing ourselves to? Um, that we feel like we got to do something new January 1st.
Hmm.
Like where does that what if you had a good year last year? Why can't this year be the year of celebrating last year?
Yeah.
I worked hard, I put it in. So this year I'm traveling, I'm treating myself, I'm doing this, I'm changing I might even flip my budget. I worked hard, so now I don't have to work as hard. Like, why does it have to be? I'll put it like this. I took an assessment at work recently. They do it all the time. They do like personality profiles and all
Hmm.
those different things. This one was new. This one was new for me. This one was a talent finder. It wasn't a strength finder. It was a talent finder. And so what was different about it was this was probably the most accurate profile assessment I've ever taken in my life, and I've taken many. Most of them are pretty similar, but this one like read me like a book for the first time in my life. And so it had me thinking. One of the things that it said was sometimes individuals focus so much on, if you take those things and it shows you what you're good at, your strengths, what's natural to you, and it shows you some areas of opportunity. That's the nice way of saying weakness.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you
This
have
is a place you suck.
developmental opportunities. And they
Opportunities
always show
to
you,
grow. This is the
yeah,
place you suck.
yeah, and they put on a spectrum, and then it's like over there, and then with the colors, try to make it cute. But I bring that up to say this particular one talks about like, so my personality is more so that if I see a weakness, my first inclination is how can I strengthen that weakness, right?
Right.
But instead, why not just go with what I'm good at, strengthen that, so I become specialized, I become expert, I become great at this, instead of always looking at how can I become better. Why do we tend to do that rather than highlight this? We feel like it's bad almost to be like, well, you're already good at that. Why don't you work on what you're not good at? Why?
Right. I think it has to come back to like a pride type thing where it's like I hate to be bad at stuff.
Yeah.
I hate to be bad at stuff. Now, I tend to focus less on the things that I can just get out of bed and do easy. Like it's just
But
second nature.
why?
Because when we talk about, especially in the work environment, especially in the
Mm-hmm.
work in a work environment, we try to, even if we don't voice it, I feel like there are certain people who try to be that job security, right? Like everybody can get laid off, but me, I'm that guy. Like I'm the one. I'm that
Mm-hmm.
one. And so when people notice what you're good at, pat on the back. You know that. A lot of people at this point know what they're good at. But when people also point at like, oh, this is where you're weak at, you're like, I can't be weak. I can't be weak. I can't be weak at like even proficient. You can say, oh, your communication is proficient. Like that's the lowest bar. Like I'm normal at that. But if
Mm-hmm.
I'm weak at it, Nobody wants to be weak. Nobody wants to.
Why?
It's
Nobody is good at everything, but
you're right.
instead we rather be. Is it better to be good at 3 out of 5 things, or to be mediocre at all 5?
Hmm.
Because this is the, like you said, nobody wants to be. So if everybody's trying to hit all areas, who's going to stand out? Why not have, if you got a team of 5, why not have 5 experts instead of 5 mediocre people?
Right.
You tackle this, you tackle that. That could even go to um relationships, right? Okay, I'm always striving to get better. I'm always striving to get better. Today, let me just celebrate what I'm good at. Let me just, because you always going to default to what you're good at.
Right. But
Because people,
do you think that the work, like, to me, I'm thinking, and I'm sorry if my mind is fixed on the work environment, because
no,
like
that's fine.
I've never heard my work environments come up here and say, "Hey, Ring, you're really, really good at this. Like just keep excelling at that." You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
if they do say that, that's like, okay, that's a slither of the conversation, and the most time is spent on room for opportunity for growth. Like
Yes.
that's where the predominant time is on. And so naturally, if I have a review, like we have work reviews right about
Mhm.
now, they're going to spend most of the time on that. And so in my mind, mentally, it's just like, okay, you spent the time to tell me all of that in detail. I mean, that's what I need to focus on.
But
Like it literally
that's my
almost
point.
anything else.
That's my point. So now we are going out of the workplace thinking about what we didn't do well
Yes.
all the time. Now they do that at the workplace, but it makes, if you think about it, if I'm judging your performance, why would I judge it on what you didn't do? Shouldn't I judge it based on what you did do? Because why would I spend most of my time dissecting why I didn't hire you?
Okay, like okay, let me back let me get you right there, right? Because like I literally we're in this season right now. Let me get you right there because here's the thing. I'm not saying that it's a system issue. I'm not going to sit up here and goes bold and say it's a system issue, but it goes back to the same thought process of you ever heard the and I've heard this, okay? I've heard this all the time in work evaluations or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've had let's give a good number of 20 people. Let's say 20 supervisors in my entire life. 90% of them, if not more, like so the bottom line is 90%, if not more, always says like, oh, if it's 0 to 5 stars, 5 stars being the best. I don't give out fives because fives mean that there's no room for growth. Like you know what I mean? Like so
So it
it's
is. So
like
it's a system issue then.
and so I mean, because it's like I can't be a 5 in anything. Like you know what I mean? Like even the
That's
things
what
that
I'm
I'm good at
saying.
is a 4. Like
Only because that person feels like in their mind the definition of 5 means flawless. And that's
right.
that's dumb.
Yeah.
Then
That
why
is
have 5 stars available? Because nobody's gonna not do nothing wrong. That's a triple
right.
negative. But like, that's what I'm saying. Because we spend most of our life in the workplace with these grading systems and always being evaluated and always being judged of performance. In our personal life, if somebody says, okay, for argument's sake, this is my New Year's resolution. Last year I killed it in this area. Now I'm gonna move on to this. Why? Why not just continue on with what you were excelling at? Not
Right.
saying you neglect where you could grow, but why are we so afraid to celebrate what's great? I feel like
Right.
there's this thing in the back of our minds that we feel like if we celebrate too much, it cripples us.
Right.
And I don't believe that anymore. I used to think the same thing. Okay, that was good. That's cool. What's next? That athlete mentality. Like,
Yeah.
okay, boom, next game, next play. But you always going, no matter what you try to, whether it's learning a new skill, a new technique on something, you always going to default back to what's core to you.
Right.
So if your shooting form sucks, but you hit 60%, they going they gonna try to say, well, you need to fix your form, but then in the game, they're gonna let you do what you do.
Yeah, you hit 60%.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't care. I don't care if you shoot with your eyes closed every time. If you hit 60%, keep doing what you're doing.
Right. But they guarantee in their heart and in their mind, they're fighting themselves from saying, we got to correct that.
Right.
Then it's like, but if it's working, why?
But do you think it also goes back to like kind of like what you said before, like with the whole 5-star rating? It's like, does it go back to um the eye of the rater and the fact that nothing can ever be perfect? Like, does it go back to, hey, your shooting form doesn't look like what we expect it to look like.
But
So
it's
therefore,
higher, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than the rater. That's why the
okay,
coach has a hard time saying, should I fix or should I not? They're worried about the optics, the system.
yes,
We are
yes,
winning. So why am I up all night? Because I can't decide if I want to go to practice tomorrow and fix this person's form. I
right,
should sleep well if we're winning, right?
right,
Same
right.
thing in the workplace. It's like this thing. I don't know if it's human nature. I don't know, but I feel like we have been set up to be like afraid to celebrate
Yes,
win. It's always like, okay, what's the next thing? It's like we're afraid that we'll get complacent. It's a fear.
right.
But when it's and again, I'm not saying you neglect where you need to grow, but when we set goals, why do we always feel like we got to start something new? Why can't we continue to pour
Mhm.
into and invest and cultivate what we're skilled and talented at and
Yeah,
become an expert at that? Because we're moving into, if we talk about the system is moving into who's the specialist in this area. I don't want somebody that's good at everything. I want
yeah,
the best.
yeah.
Like there's so many athletes that get signed for one thing. The best scorers usually don't play the best defense. The best defenders usually aren't the best scorers.
True, true.
When it comes to coaching, they say, "Oh, he's known as a disciplinarian. Oh, he's known as a player's coach." Like everybody can't be great
Be it
at
all. Yeah,
everything.
yeah. You can't be at
You know what
all.
I'm saying? You can
Yeah,
try to be. You can work on certain areas, but if you win the chip, you win the chip. And
but
somebody
here's
gonna say, "Oh, that's the best coach. That's coach of the year."
so then would you say so would you say this then, like a lot of our goals, let's say it was we set a goal, is it really, is it more times than not a fear-based goal, meaning like, hey, I'm fearful that I'm not a good jump shooter, so let me go ahead and do it. That will lead to my ultimate thing. Even though I'm the best, I can get to. And here's the thing: I've seen people. Let me give you an example. I've seen people who were the best drivers of the basketball that I've
Mm,
ever seen. Like, this person can get to the rim every single time if they wanted to, like every single time, but still it would mess with their head. Why? Because they're not good jump. They're labeled as not good jump shooters. They can't hit the threes. They can't do all this other stuff.
labeled, yes,
That is the things that people think are flashy. You know why? Because it's like, oh, like you're getting to the rim, but it's a layup every time. Like layups aren't good looking. I'm like,
but
I don't
yeah,
ever see looking like this dude getting an easy 30 points every single time. So
it's the
all of these,
optics. It's what it looks like. Who want to be the
it's
best all around player? Do we want to win or no?
exactly. I mean,
Shaq couldn't shoot free throws, but you
and
can't
it makes
tell
me,
me he's not the best big man ever.
I think he's the best big man, not even close. But
I don't care if he didn't make free throws, but you can't guard him. Which
you
one do
can't,
you care more about?
you cannot. Well, that's the question. That's what I was about to ask you. What do you care more about? Because it doesn't it end up being that? Like, doesn't it end up being what you like? Because every single time you hear about a goal, and let's go back to that beginning of the year thing. Every single time you hear about a goal, it's sometimes, I'm not gonna say all the time, sometimes masked with things that you already think that you're horribly failing at. Oh, I want to lose
Absolutely.
weight. I think my weight is terrible right now. Oh, I want to be more financial responsible. I think I'm financially terrible right now. Like all of these things is built on things that we feel probably like we're not doing a good job at right now, right?
Sure.
And so I can't tell you the last time I can't tell you last time I've seen it in media and a person said it to me or whatever. I can't like, hey, like I'm pretty good at my finances. My goal this year is to maintain what I've already built. I've never heard somebody say that. They
Exactly.
always think bigger and better. They always think I've never heard
Earth
somebody.
shattering.
I've never heard somebody say even let's say in the basketball realm. Like I know some people who was freaking wizards with passing. Oh man, they can thread the needle anytime you shall please. But their thought process is this summer I want to get better at jump shooting. This summer I want to
Right.
get better at you know what I mean? Like being a scorer. Like it's never be the best you possibly can. And I wonder with the system how it is, and this is my question to you. I wonder what the system how it is. Do you think there'll ever be a time where it's like, ooh, let me tell you this. Oh, let me destroy all those examples. I found the perfect example. The perfect example. Destroy it. Along the same lines, but destroy it. The idea of a 3-point specialist in WNBA and NBA, right? Set shooters. You swing to them, they catch and shoot. Like those were amazing. Those were amazing. We like I want to say circuit 2010s in general from so to 10 to 20 like you were out there looking for them. Like there's people in both leagues that you know them by name because they were that. Ooh, you lit it
Hmm.
up. You lit it up. But then, and this is just my opinion from what I see, they started phasing them out because it's like, oh, well, the person has to, like, the point guard has to get them open almost. The person has to, like, there's other factors that needs to happen in order to even get this person a shot, right? But rewind 10 years ago, like they're knockdown shooters. So if you get them the ball, they're the best at what they do. But the thing is now it's like, oh man, we don't want to make our system be able to get them the ball. If you know what I mean, if they're a set shooter, like how do we get them the ball? How do we get them the ball? So here's the question. It's like, do you focus on like because you are really good at it, do you focus on being the best set 3-point shooter to ever live? Or do you try, or do you say, hey, my goal is to not maintain what I already got, but it's to figure out how I can be different because now they're phasing me out?
Well, first, I don't think they're phased out. I think the game changed. And so you can't just stand and shoot no more, period.
Mhm.
I think what I would do in that scenario, if I'm a spot up shooter, now I'm going to have to learn how to do, I'm going to have to pull up. I'm going to learn how to pull up shooter. I'm going to have to learn how to do a side step. I'm going to have to add some games and build on. I don't have to change who I am, but spot up shooting, the game's too fast. Ain't going to work. So what I would do is instead of changing who I am, I'm going to build on to what I am. So now the scout doesn't know, okay, she only shoots from the corner. Now
Mhm.
she got a sidestep. Now if she's bringing the ball up, the first pass is going to be to the left so she can come around cuz her favorite shot is in the corner.
Mm.
Actually, no, she's going to shoot it without passing it. She's going to dribble it up, and since y'all think she's going to do that, she's going to shoot it. So if I'm a shooter, I'm going to add different ways that I'm going to get my shot. So if you in that scenario, if you were phased out, that's because you didn't cultivate or develop. Those weren't necessarily weaknesses; those were just untapped because you didn't know I could add. I'm a shooter. I'm not a driver, and we thought shooting meant one thing for
Yeah,
decades.
yeah, we do.
So in that scenario, I think it's how do I add on subsets? How do I add on different looks to get? I'm gonna get the same shot, but I'm gonna get there different ways. That comes from coaching.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the other thing with the other scenarios too, I wouldn't say it's fear based, but I think there is the fear, if anything, is I got to do these things because I feel like if I don't, I'm going to be left behind in this imaginary system or world that I live in. So like if you said I was financially, I met my goals last year, why can't my goal be I'm going to do it again?
Hmm.
I'm gonna double it.
Yeah, momentum.
Yeah, why can't it be that? Or why can't my goal be I'm gonna teach two of my friends to do it how I did it? Why it always gotta be, okay, boom, done. Next.
Yeah,
That's not the point.
yeah,
The point isn't always to like do something brand new. Why can't we build on to what we're good at and again become the go-to, the expert?
right.
Bring somebody with me. If I successfully figured out a system to meet my physical goals, I wanted to whatever, add more vitamins, daily intake. I wanted to add more protein. I wanted to do more cardio. I wanted to cut my calories without being hungry. Whatever it was, and I met my goals. Now let me teach it to somebody else that's struggling. Let me see how I can use what I learned and test it on myself, develop it and teach it in a way so people don't have to struggle how I did
Yeah,
and be more efficient. So I think the whole premise of this is like, why do we feel like we have to, where is this measurement that we feel like we have to live up to?
Ah, it's
If I don't
it's
get a house by 30, then I'm not really grown.
yeah,
Who said that? If I'm 32 years old and she's 32 years old and she got married and I didn't, all right, this is my year. What are you talking about? Why are you looking at them to set goals for your life? Because
yeah,
last I checked, there was not a board meeting that sat down and decided what you should be doing with your life. There was, God didn't have a meeting with the heads of all your departments in your life and say, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and I need y'all to vote on it. He didn't do that.
yeah.
So I feel like too, we kind of measure ourselves against people. We say comparison is the thief of joy. We have all these quotes, but we be doing it.
We do it, and we say we don't do it, and we still be doing it. Like, because
Yeah.
I don't know if we've reached out, because there's a line. There's a line to say that what is it, comparison, or is it motivation? Is it comparison, or is it a competitive atmosphere? You know what I mean? Like, it's so many other things that we can kind of reframe it as. And like, it's crazy because I just got off the phone not too long ago with a relative, and he's older than me. And his words was, and I quote, he was like, man, like, I'm the little one, I'm the younger
Mm.
one. He like, man,